Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go.
Okay. Well, it was fun looking around. Now I get to go shopping, so here's my shopping experience. Okay. Interesting. The size is good on these, but I'm not exactly sure who made them. That doesn't look like a Blanco pontil. I bet it's Morgantown, maybe out of West Virginia. But it's interesting how they're flared differently. I'm tempted by that, but I did just buy a bunch of big glass like that. It's a road thing. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Okay, it isn't reacting in any way, so it's in good shape. It doesn't have any... Sometimes the color changes on them, or they get this weird milky color, and then they're no good. I'm going to have to find out how much this is, because I like these. But I don't see a price, so let me find out from the dealer here. First, let me make sure I can shut it. Oops. Yeah, hopefully not too many of those. Okay, there we go. Hi there, how are you? Huh. What are we looking at? Oh, the derby glass I thought was neat. I haven't seen this. It shows the 5 fastest runnings, and it shows all the winners through 1954, so this must be the 1955 version. Pretty neat.
Yeah, the set over there is cool, though.
Yeah, these are cool too. Yeah, these look like early 60s. In fact, I think I have this one. 57, you're right. Yeah, it's neat. I like the lettering. Even the Kentucky Derby went modern in the 50s.
Stylized horses.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you. Let me give you 20 bucks for that. I think that's a great piece. I appreciate it. There you are.
One bag for it?
Maybe so, just because I'm going to look around some more.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited. That's a good example of buying something in a place that it doesn't belong, because in Florida, this is like a $100 purse. So that's pretty cool. Oh, thank you. Kind of my size. That's a neat one with the leather. That's a neat piece. Yes, World War veteran, so engineering. This would have been First World War, I believe. And it would have just been something to hang to show that you have the pleasure of participating in the war.
They're not publishing for some annual ones.
Ooh, fried Kit Kats.
Depression glass.
I mean, this is a neat space here, and they've got great stuff, and it's priced fairly. You know, for me as a dealer, I can't really afford to buy it, but they've got some really cool pieces. I mean, you don't see the double Coke bottle often, and even Kentucky Farm Bureau. I mean, that's not something I've come up with very often either. So I don't feel like I came this way, because it all seems different. I don't remember these spaces here. I think I walked by them. Wedding rings and other things. Watch repair, apparently, because there's the dead one and the live one. A friend of mine has a friend who does watches. I should ask about this. just because it's something different.
Deal where you give me, I get these free. Come on. And these.
It's a whistle. It's supposed to be loud. Yeah, these are actually given out by Keds shoes, you know, the Keds sneakers that were really popular in the 60s. And then it was a little supersonic space whistle, and it's a mercury capsule shape, so it's got to be from about 1965. I like all this little stuff. Tip trays are pretty collectible too. This one's a furniture company, but they can be beer, they can be various other advertising. They even have nudes sometimes, and those can be really pricey. She's more of a sweetheart one.
Alsatian. French had it now, Germans lost World War II.
Oh.
Well, that's a little spotted. I'm going to ask how much this guy is. Yes, the Indian maiden print. These were really popular about 1920, and the funny thing is almost every woman who posed for these was actually Italian American rather than Indian. Oh yes, Cracker Jack and Penny toys. Dexterity puzzle. Try to get the balls in the little thing. Not so easy to do. Let's see if I can get any of them in there. Oh, there we go. Nope, I give up. Children were more patient at that era of history than they are now, I think. Or they didn't have anything better to do, I guess. Louisville Shriners, Osiris Temple. It's so funny to see all of these Middle Eastern names now that there's so much going on in the Middle East, because back then it was just considered exotic and unusual, and so they would name them after all these things that are now enemies of our government.
I don't know what you call it. The actual petition that comes out. So there's another piece in there. There's a bus in there.
Never seen that before. Atchison, Kansas, Mohawk brand oiler. It's just a cool graphic. That's really some crazy hair there. He sort of looks like a Rastafarian.
Those things sold for 100, 125.
And the littlest piece of McCoy you will ever see, but the butterfly pattern's pretty popular. And this is the NM mark, which is Nelson McCoy. A lot of people don't recognize that as McCoy, but it is. Doesn't run, but that is a cool clock. They almost never run, though. These little ones had really kind of surprisingly inferior movements compared to the bigger clocks back then, so they're hard to find in working order. If it worked, it'd be a heck of a deal. It's not even a bad deal as it is. Let's see. I didn't come over here. I'd like to see this spot. Oh, they sold the Big Oak Buffet. I like the old signage, but they're all companies that are really popular around here, so understandably they're priced accordingly. This is cute. In a way, a dog dressed up with a mirror. Seems like something a child would do to an animal rather than an animal choosing to do to itself. But it's definitely out of the teens or 20s, and it's got the ABCs as well. These ABC things came out really early, like in the 1840s. It's one of the first things they made for people to have at home, other than dishes that you just sort of carved out of pieces of wood or whatever. Telling's ice cream. I really look for these little advertising pieces because I've got my shows in Florida coming up, and I've got a lot of people down there who look for those, but they're really looking for even older. So I'm going to do a little looking in some cases here. Oh, it's cardboard, but that's neat. Old Falstaff, Red Goose shoes. Yeah, all these advertising graphic things are very popular right now, so it's a little hard to find them at antique shows now for prices that are affordable to me, but it doesn't mean that they're not affordable for a collector. Let's see. I know down here there was something I liked.
Neighbors made him a concrete statue of the dog and put his name, Coco, in it, and it sits outside my dad's garden.
Emergency escape way. It seems like it would take you enough time to read that you would have already burned to death. People were a little more literate, I guess. That's a cute tip tray with the horses on it. I'm not expecting it to be inexpensive because it's a hard one to find. And then you've got a nutmeg grinder. That's actually a very specific collectible, but they are pretty desirable. And they came in various sizes. That would have been a clamp onto a counter. There are even little ones you would carry in your purse. Apparently nutmeg was a big deal for spices at a certain time, and people would actually carry it with them when they traveled. Oh, Shenshemware from India from the 70s. That actually is becoming collectible. I just sold a big screen made out of it for $150. Follow Me. This is a regimental piece. I can't remember which regiment that is, but I think it's one of the ones out of Fort Campbell. These would have been things to send to a sweetheart, obviously. Back then, the guys weren't using these.
Blush.
Yeah. Yeah, a little blush before we make the charge. And let's see here. Does that open? Yes. And it does not have its powder puff, which is too bad, but they're often missing. They're replaceable. They always say to push these in so that they don't snap the thing. I didn't know that until more recently than I care to admit. Still like the telephone, but I'll bet it's European. Let's see if we can tell. Yeah, PIT or PTT, that's a Dutch company. And the problem with these is that the wiring isn't right for our houses, so you can buy the old American ones and hook them in, but you can't do that with the European ones. Which explains why it's so inexpensive, because it's just a desk accessory, really. Oh, this piece here is worth a look. Hi, could I take a look at the check necklace, please?
I'll see you later.
Oh, cool. It's nice to be able to socialize. That's part of what's fun about antique shows.
He came just to give me a break. We live about an hour.
Oh, yeah, it's everybody has to come from long ways, yeah. I bet there were stones here originally, but that's a cute piece. And you can see through to the back here. It's got a mark, made in Czechoslovakia, which I think that's what that says. Usually don't see that, but I'm going to check it with my loupe. Did you look at this? Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. Made in Czechoslovakia. Thank you. Let's see, so it's, oh, I see, it's one of these that hooks around to the back before it wears, so it dangles about like this. Well, it's not for me, but I like it. But if it'll fit around my big old Adam's apple, it'll fit a woman, and that's the important part. That's why I always hold them up. I wonder how that got, it's just off center a little. I wonder what that is. It looks as if it was put together that way. I'm always on the lookout for Czech jewelry because I've got a couple of people in Florida who really like it, and I really like it. I have to admit, I have no idea what this is for. Okay, so it hangs like this, but from what and why? Don't really know. Groovy necklace. Do you have any idea what this is?
Yeah, it's to wean a calf.
Oh, it's a calf weaning device. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So you put it around the calf's neck, and then it pokes the udders, and they try to.
And she stopped.
And yeah, okay.
Ah, that's so cool. It's funny, I grew up in the country, but we didn't have livestock, so that was a new one to me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Sure.
That's really interesting.
I thought it looked nice as a necklace. I hadn't thought of that.
It's kind of cool.
Really,
And it would keep you away from, yeah.
I got a granddaughter.
Well, that was fun. Let's see. Feed sacks. Oh yeah, they have the nice Russian boxes here. And the bowls are cool, actually. I like bookends. I haven't seen those before. And they're nice and heavy. Probably 40s or 50s looking at the way they're made. This fellow is our friend Lucas, who's got a spot at Preservation Station where we did a show in Owensboro. And he always has interesting advertising things, and tins, mid-century, all of that kind of stuff, the sort of big visual proppy things that people are looking for now. I really think this is cool. I don't drink coffee, but if I did, that is a trickolator, so that is a very, very 60s or 70s thing, and I assume trickolator probably because it's got several levels of these things.
Pac-Man.
I have to admit that's pretty groovy. Pac-Man, yes, that's definitely things that we see of the new era of collectible. This is what they grew up with, and this is what they're after. The actual early Pac-Man games go for quite a lot of money, I guess, if you have room for one in your house, and 3 men and a dog to move it. This shade is really great. You don't see the shades that are like Venetian blinds very often, and when you do, they're usually square, so that's different. And it's priced at $150 because of the shade. Some of these patterns are pretty hard to find. Yeah, with the utensils. This is one of the hardest patterns to find. I noticed they've got over 500 on that set, but I also can't say that I've seen another set like this in the last 10 years, so I guess that might be the reason why. These Apple ones here, for some reason you see these in Canada a lot more than you do down here in the States, so people down here pay premium for them. Up there you actually find them at cheaper prices.
On the other hand, the guys map weather maps the world.
Well, here's a bunch of little stuff, and I should look at little stuff. There's some really good early crockery here, which will all be out of my price range, but great for collectors. It's just amazing to me how popular crocs are now. And these are some really early ones. Match Safe is neat. There have been a lot of reproductions of these, but this is definitely an original. And it's the St. Louis World's Fair, 1904. It does have a match striker on the top, yeah. Yep, it's a real one.
To your right.
The cat, oh, the Kit Kat, oh boy, and it's got the box and everything, huh? It is a hard to find color. That's a cool one, yeah. Yeah, these, they came in several colors, but boy, yeah, that is not one you see very often. And it's got the tail. That's often the thing that is not in the box, I've noticed.
Still works.
That's really cool. How much is that one?
200.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fair price for that color. That's neat.
I think this here is classic.
Yeah, with the cat's eye lenses and the giant bow. I know they're kind of, they're everything.
There's a pretty rare hood ornaments over there.
Oh, really?
All back in the 20s, and some of them were what they call whimsical, where they.
Oh, the big motometer here. Wow, that is something. I haven't seen that one before.
Some of them they actually took toys and mounted onto the radiator.
I see that. Yeah, that's really fun. I've never seen that
Charlie
either.
Chaplin up there on the top.
Oh, wow. Huh, that's fun. I haven't seen people do that with them. Get a light. Yeah, this is a nice...
equivalent of the Cadillac in the 60s having bull horns.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that was the thing to have. Exactly. I like that one with the streamline and the diving woman.
I think it's like a spaceman. I thought it was a woman too at first.
Oh yeah, it actually might be. You know, you might be right. It might be some futuristic thing like from that Ultimo book or whatever they did back in the 30s.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community, here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media daily posts and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.